Today, we're going to trace the surprisingly global footprint of one of the most ancient and, let's be honest, complex figures in human spirituality, Shiva. We're about to see how this single archetype ripples across cultures in ways you would probably never, ever expect. Okay, let's dive right in. So, what is the common thread here? Believe it or not, the answer is Shiva. And to really get how that's possible, we need to peel back the layers of symbolism, starting with his most fundamental form, then moving into the human body, and finally expanding our search across the entire world.
You know, to get to the heart of who Shiva is, we have to start with the symbol he's most worshipped in, the linga. And trust me, it's probably not just what you think it is. Now, while the word linga can mean phallus, its deeper definitions point to something way more abstract. It's really a mark or a sign of the unmanifest, the eternal, procreative germ from which all potential springs. So, the linga is almost always seen with the yoni, which is a symbol of female creative energy. But this isn't just a physical thing. It's the fundamental duality of the entire cosmos. Think of it like this. The linga is the silent, passive space. It's the canvas, and the yoni is active time, the creative energy that paints reality onto it. It's this brilliant illustration of the cycle of existence. It's where creation begins, and it's also where everything eventually dissolves back into pure potential.
This ancient Sanskrit quote just nails it, doesn't it? That into which all of creation dissolves. The linga is the ultimate destination, the point of reabsorption for the whole universe. It's the beginning and the end, all wrapped up in one deceptively simple form.
And if you look back at history, this symbol has some seriously deep roots. The ancient Vedic texts talk about something called the Upastamba, a sacrificial post described as this endless pillar representing the eternal Brahman. Over time, it's believed this very concept transformed into the Shiva linga we see today, a pillar of solidified, bright light that just transcends all worlds.
Okay, so how does this cosmic pillar, this external symbol, translate into a powerful internal experience? Well, that brings us right to our next section, the cosmic energy within.
In the world of yoga, these exact same cosmic forces exist inside of us, inside the human body. Shiva's energy is an upward current, pulling our consciousness towards the crown of the head. And at the very same time, Shakti's energy moves in a line through the chakras. When you put them together, they form this powerful spiral of energy, right up the spine, like your own personal pillar of eternal energy.
And this whole process, it leads to a really profound transformation. We start out as the pashu, or the animal, bound by the pasha, which is like a noose of worldly attachment. But through yoga, we push that spiral of energy upward, and eventually we become the Pashupati, the lord of the animals, reaching this amazing state of liberated consciousness.
All right, so now that we've looked at the symbol and the internal experience, let's zoom out a bit. You are going to be amazed at how these same core ideas echo in other major Eastern traditions. So our first stop is Jainism, and here we meet a figure named Rishabhnath, also known as Adinath. He's the very first of the great enlightened teachers, the Tirthankaras, and honestly, the parallels to Shiva are just impossible to ignore.
I mean, just look at this. The parallels are incredibly deep. Shiva is the Adi Yogi, the first yogi. Rishabhnath is Adinath, the first lord. They both live on Mount Kailash. They're both associated with the bull. Both are said to have released a Ganges of knowledge to the world. And they both teach these huge assemblies of gods, sages, humans, even animals. It's an absolutely incredible mirroring of the exact same core archetype.
Okay, so what about Buddhism? Here, Shiva isn't a central figure, but he gets absorbed and reinterpreted in some really fascinating ways. He often shows up as a powerful protector, or even as a being on the path to becoming a Buddha himself. For instance, he's known as Maheshwara, a bodhisattva. In the famous Lotus Sutra, he's even seen as an aspect of Avalokiteshvara, the bodhisattva of compassion. Over in Tibet, he's a protector deity called La Chenpo. And get this, some texts even predict he will one day attain full Buddhahood as the Bhashmeshwara Buddha.
All right, you might want to brace yourself for the biggest leap yet. We're going from India to Japan to ancient Europe and even Persia to find echoes of these same archetypes in cultures that seem, well, completely unrelated.
First up, let's head over to Japan. In the Shinto religion, one of the 7 lucky gods is a guy named Daikokuten. But his origins, They're directly linked to Shiva in his fierce form as Mahakala, the embodiment of cosmic time and destruction.
And just like Shiva, Daikakutin embodies this powerful duality. He started out as a god of darkness and destruction, but over time, he also became this beloved god of wealth, prosperity, and creation. See that? That dual role of destroyer and creator is a perfect echo of Shiva's cosmic dance.
Now let's jump all the way over to ancient Celtic Europe. Here we find Cernunnos, the horned god. He's a major deity, and he's often shown surrounded by animals. His role as the lord of the animals is a direct parallel to Shiva's form as Pashupati, and what's more, just like the followers of Shiva, the Celts also revered a mother goddess, showing a similar balance of divine energies. Wild, right?
And finally, let's take a look at ancient Persia and Zoroastrianism. Shiva is famous for his third eye, right? The eye of knowledge that destroys ignorance. Well, in Zoroastrianism, while it's not a physical thing, there's a really strong concept of a spiritual third eye, a supreme perception of reality that's required to understand the divine. It's the same core idea, a higher form of sight that just pierces right through illusion.
So, after traveling from a single simple to the inner workings of yoga, and then all the way across the globe from Japan to Ireland, what does all this mean? It really seems like we've stumbled onto some kind of universal pattern. Think about it. We've seen these archetypes pop up again and again. The Lord of Animals, linking India and the Celtic world. The first ascetic, connecting Hinduism and Jainism. The dual force of destroyer and creator, found in India, Persia, and Japan. And the third eye of wisdom, a concept shared in different forms across all these cultures. What this shows us is that these aren't just isolated stories. They are fundamental, recurring human patterns. Which, of course, leaves us with one final fascinating question. If these fundamental ideas of untamed nature, of profound inner knowledge, and the great cycles of creation and destruction, if they keep appearing in our myths and religions across thousands of miles and thousands of years, what are they trying to tell us about the very structure of human consciousness itself? Something to think about. Thanks for watching.